Hi, I'm Jorge Guerrero with Dr. Diesel Technologies.
And I am Daniel Vasquez with Dr. Diesel Technologies. And today we are here to introduce you with the newest, latest innovation with diagnostic technology. We have here what's called the DATS Echo, which is, it comes with your standard CF20 or your CF55 Panasonic Toughbooks.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. Now let me ask you this. You say the latest in diagnostic innovations. What brought about the creation of the DATS Echo?
Okay, the DATS Echo came about because all the shortfalls that we have seen in our military space, the need of newer and faster diagnostics for the technicians to be able to troubleshoot and diagnose their military equipment.
Now, you say for them to have their test equipment to diagnose their equipment, but don't they already have test equipment provided by their diagnostic tool providers?
Okay, for the most part, they do. Okay. However, when the military space is always coming out with newer vehicles, and when those newer vehicles come out, they don't have, most of the time they don't have the diagnostic software readily available. So when the vehicle gets delivered, you won't get a diagnostic software or a tool most of the time. So that's where Dr. Diesel came into place.
Okay, so it's the development cycle of those tool set providers could be what, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years before they provide a tool set to a military mechanic. But in the interim, they're fielding those vehicles, receiving those vehicles, and have to maintain and work on those vehicles.
That is correct, Jorge. And also, just keep it, when those military vehicles come on board, they don't have the diagnostic solutions for that, as far as how to troubleshoot those vehicles, how to fix them. So, what are they going to do? They're going to have to contact outside source to come and work on those vehicles. So the DATS kit, the DATS Echo came into place because you can have this readily available at the shop and perform diagnostic level, do a dealer level diagnostics. Okay. Just think about how much would they cost the military to contract outside source to come to base and fix a vehicle. So that would be thousands of dollars to spend in waiting for a test to come from the headquarters.
And you're right about that as far as the cost, because I know that if they have an engine and they have to, let's say, replace the injectors and do the injector calibration, for an outside service provider to come out and do that, they're going to charge them anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 per injector. So if you got an engine, you got to replace and recalibrate 6 injectors, you're talking quite a chunk of change.
That's correct, Jorge, and that's why we came out with this DATS Echo kit.
And the other thing also is, I guess the mechanics, when they're in garrison, they have the flexibility and reach out to an outside source to come in and do the work. But what happens when they're in the deployed environment or an austere environment and they don't have the luxury of being able to call 1-800, come fix my truck?
Well, it's a great concern right there, because it is true. It is true. So what are we going to do there? What are they going to do? Tow it back to the base? While they're out in the middle of nowhere?
That's right.
And the truck's probably going to sit there for how long? God knows how long.
Yeah.
Until an FSR gets on board. So
this tool really becomes a big force multiplier for our military brethren that are mechanics, especially when they're deployed. So let's get a little bit into the equipment now. You've got 2 toughbooks right here. You got the FZ55 and the CF20. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, the CF20, this kit is shown right now. It's a kit that you can purchase through Dr. Diesel.
Okay.
I mean, if you want the CF55, you can do that as well. But they have the only thing that we have with the CF55 that actually has an NSN. So if you purchase with the NSN, you will get that computer instead of the CF20.
Okay.
That's the only difference.
So it's really more of a preference. The FZ55 has a larger screen and then the CF20 has a smaller screen, but I think it's got some transformer characteristics, right?
Okay, yes, it's a preference. Obviously, the CF55 has a bigger screen, and the CF20 is a smaller screen. However, it's also a tablet. So, if the mechanic wishes to have connectivity with the vehicle and walk around the vehicle while doing diagnostics, they can do that without losing connectivity.
I could see how they have more flexibility, or let's say they got to crawl on top of a tactical vehicle or underneath, then that guy's going to be a little bit more forgiving.
Yes, and it's a smaller footprint, however, easy to handle if you have to move around the vehicle under or from on top of the vehicle. So it's all about preference.
Okay. Now, what's going on with this magic box? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Okay, so this is it's called the V9 interface from Diagnostics. This is exactly what you said. It's the magic box, Pandora's box right here. Okay, this device here is an RP1210 compliant device. So if you have any OEM software other than what we provide, you can easily use it with this as well.
Okay, so it's got a lot of flexibility.
Yes, flexibility. Also, this device is the one that has all your makes and models, your diagnostic, your schematics, troubleshooting instructions, pictures, okay, locations of components. So this is the device that's going to provide you all that information. They're going to be right in front of you instead of you going back and forth from the tool room to the vehicle and vice versa.
Okay, and I don't mean to get all technical, but I mean, we are diesel mechanics by trade. So this supports the J1939, the 1708, the 1587, the OBD2.
And to include the CDL and more.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's one device that's doing it all.
One device for everything.
Okay. Now, along with the device, I see you've got a collection of cable adapters here. Can you tell me a little bit about these two right here?
Okay, Jorge, we're gonna cover these cables. These two right here, these are your standard CDL for Caterpillar only vehicles. It could be mainly used on the off-highway type vehicles. Okay, but this Caterpillar CDL, you get your standard 9-pin, and then you get your newest vehicles get this pin right here. It's a 16-pin connector.
So let me get this straight. So we can use this box and use these cables and hook up to our Caterpillar equipment, and this would be instead of the large Caterpillar comm adapter.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, so that replaces this.
That replaces your Caterpillar comm adapter, and the way you connect to these cables, all these different cables, because it also supports OBD2. You have your standard OBD2 cable, and if you're going to work on a Caterpillar piece of equipment, and you know you got this typical CDL connector, all you do is connect it to your OBD2 cable. OBD2 cable to your it comes to your V9. You'll have a USB cable that goes from the V9 to your computer. And all you got to do is turn on the computer, connect it to your vehicle, turn on your power, and you're rocking and rolling.
Wow. So I mean, to me, how long do you think it would take a mechanic to set up this test equipment and be rocking and rolling doing diagnostics?
Jorge, I want to say this. If you have your typical, not typical, but more experienced, more seasoned mechanic that knows, hey, what connector goes to that vehicle, and he knows, hey, I need this, I need this, I need that, I'll say within 3 minutes, you're connected to the vehicle. And
in comparison to their prescribed test equipment, I mean, what are we talking as far as differences?
Well, I would say it will be longer than 3 minutes, that's for sure. Okay.
So, I mean, for military mechanics, especially if you're in an austere tactical environment, time is always of the essence.
Well, time, and just imagine, Jorge, this smaller box, you can suitcase type, grab and go.
Yeah.
Yeah, grab and go.
So this definitely reduces the logistical footprint of the test equipment.
Yes.
And exactly. That's a lot of cable. Now, what about this other cable right here? What's that about?
This cable is it's called the Helix Cable, and it's mainly used for ABS systems on trailers. You know, some of the military equipment actually have their own ECU on the trailers for ABS diagnostics.
And you know, I suspect we've been out to many different bases, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and you know, I can tell you how many times we find trailers that have the ABS ECUs on them, and the mechanics don't even realize that they're equipped with ECUs.
Yes, they completely they don't realize they actually have an ECU per some of the trailers.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so then it makes you wonder, how are they even performing troubleshooting and maintenance on them?
Yes, absolutely.
Now, what about these two cables over here?
Well, these two cables right here, I'll tell you that normally I like talking about these two cables at the same time because we came up with this solution for one specific vehicle, and I believe Marines, Navy, and also the Army has this one vehicle called the Ratch.
Okay.
Okay, it's a container handler by Kalmar. Now the specific that vehicle, the one vehicle, does not have your standard 9-pin Deutsch connector where your transmission and your engine comes to the same connector,
Okay.
the same CAN bus. So we figured out and found out that the engine has its own connector where we use this backbone connector.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you want to do the troubleshooting on your Cummins, you have to go straight to the engine. If you want to do troubleshooting or diagnostics on your transmission, you have to go straight to the transmission connector. So that's why these two cables are included in this kit.
You know, and once again, I have to ask Daniel, I mean, before we came up with this setup with these two cables, what were they using to troubleshoot the engine and transmission on the Ratch?
They were using the technical manuals. However, you will have no electronic
Interface
capabilities. Yes.
Wow. And what about this cable in here?
Okay, so this is your standard 9-pin Deutsch connector.
Okay.
Okay, very common throughout the entire military. It's the most common one.
Okay.
So through here you can read your J1939, 1708, J1586. Sometimes they have some of the older systems.
Yep.
Engine transmission, ABS, CTIS systems. So any ECU, any subcomponent in the vehicle, you read to J1939.
Wow, that's pretty incredible. And I see you got one more cable with a funny elbow right there.
This last cable, it will be cable for your Humvee, your TCM, and your Humvees. Okay, there's the only electronic component on the Humvee will be your TCM, and a lot of mechanics don't even know they have about this.
So I know that we were instrumental in getting this particular cable developed, and essentially what it is just a cable, the magic box, and then your computer.
Yes.
I believe prior to that, the prescribed test equipment was another big toolbox with a box of tentacle cables.
The stairs.
Yeah.
I think it was the stairs. If not, I don't know what's the other one.
I think it was the Tech 2 they called it.
Okay.
Came in a big lunch box.
So I remember utilizing the big plug that was in the center of the Humvee.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Now, what other equipment do we have with the DATS Echo?
So we have some accessories with the DATS Echo. We have external DVD drive, and it's normally used for when the mechanics receive new updates on the technical manuals. They can easily upload it to the computers or your tough book because they come with they don't have internal. Most computers nowadays don't have internal DVD drives.
Now let's talk about that a little bit. You know, the optical DVD drive seems pretty archaic. Today's generations, they're used to thumb drives, and even thumb drives are going away. Why not, you know, just tell the military mechanic, hey, go ahead and use your thumb drive and stick it in your computer as opposed to the DVD drive?
Well, good question, because our customers, most of our customers like to have the cybersecurity installed on these computers. So once you install the cybersecurity in the computers, you can't utilize thumb drives or external hard drives.
So because of that cybersecurity risk and threat, USB drives are a no-no.
It's a no-go, yes.
Okay, so that's why we need that DVD drive.
Correct.
All right, good.
Correct. Now I'm gonna go ahead and cover the accessories here. First, I'm gonna start to my left. I'll have the Pressure Pro. This device is called the Pressure Pro, and it's good up to 5,000 psi. Good thing about this thing is that you don't have to recalibrate this every year, so no calibration required. First, you connect your Pressure Pro to this hose, and then the other end of the hose will go to the test port on if you're looking for compression or pressures on the block. It could be your power steering, it could be vacuum, it could be hydraulics, pneumatics. Okay. So up to 5,000 psi. So once you're connected, all you have to do is connect this other USB cable to the device.
So it's a digital pressure
Yes,
transducer.
it's a digital.
Okay.
This to your computer, you open the application for this device, and you have a digital gauge up to 5,000 psi.
Wow.
You can do recordings, screen captures, etc. So
instead of having that old school gauge, we're just reading the pressures directly on the
on your
screen.
computer, yes.
Okay.
And last but not least, it's called the Lin Adapter. This Lin Adapter comes with your an inverter. It comes with your NATO plug, and it comes with your computer charging cable. So what this is good is for when our military brothers and sisters are out in the field, in the middle of nowhere, and they don't have power to charge up the computer, and they need to conduct some diagnostics on their vehicles. They can use the vehicle's power to charge up that computer, and then you can perform some diagnostics.
Okay, so let's talk about a little bit about that. This guy is so important because I believe just about all of our tactical equipment, whether it's a generator set, whether it's heavy equipment, or whether it's a tactical vehicle, has that NATO power adapter.
Correct. That's about, I would say, 98% of the military vehicles will have this type of connector. You have just auto ones on the Caterpillar that have a little different looking one. But other than that, if that's the case, you also have what's called the vehicle equipped with a cigarette lighter. And use a cigarette lighter instead of your NATO plug. Okay. And then you are up and rolling.
Okay. So is that everything that we have for the DATS Echo?
That's everything we have for that cycle. Very small footprint, suitcase type, and you just pick up and go.
All right. Well, that concludes our presentation of DATS Echo. Thank you.
Thank you.